Hello everybody, welcome to Indigo Tarot Odyssey. How is everybody? I thought I'd do a reading on what are you destined for. I don't know what it is with today, but there is something very kind of like musical, magical, light, and inspirational in the air for me. The second I woke up, I started doing TikToks and postings, and I felt really good, and the channeling was really beautiful. There's a lot of star energy, and that's what we're going to talk about. You're like Holy Grail, your wish, what really is going to feel fulfilling and meaningful in your life right now. So I'm going to have you guys make a choice, and feel free to watch all if you'd like. And I have some corresponding crystals too if they help. And if you guys see anything that I have in videos, you can go over to my Instagram and just DM me and be like, oh, Melanie, I saw this big quartz crystal with a dream amulet attached to it. Do you have that? Like, I'll let you know right away. I do direct sales through IG. It's much faster. Sometimes putting stuff in the Etsy store is time consuming. So I have a lot of jewelry that I just post over there. And I also give my IG users really big discounts. So come on over there and check out some stuff. I'll do some listings of stuff I have in videos, because lots of times people are like, oh, I saw this, I really like it. So here's going to be our choices, you guys. Number 1 is Dragon's Hoard, protecting the future. Number 2, Feast of Plenty, choices and their consequences. And number 3, overflow, overwhelm, and plenty. And while you guys are making your choice, I just want to talk about what the star card really is about. It offers us guidance, wholeness, and inspiration, right? It helps us focus on our path towards understanding our destiny and really the universal plan. Every day, I wake up with all these crazy insights, ideas, usually something. I have very, very humorous guides and angels and people and entities that help me channel. It's obviously my mother, my aunt, and they're very goofy and they're very funny. And every once in a while, I'm just guided. I'll hear things like, hey, go see this on whatever on this channel. And I'll like pick up the remote and I'll go watch it. If I'm feeling heavy or I'm feeling inundated, and I'll start laughing right away. Like last night, I was watching the Weird History Channel. This thing popped up and I was like, I'll go watch this. And it was really weird things about, and it was interesting, but it's done so humorously. And he was talking about like hemophiliacs in the day and how they're dealt with. And apparently Queen Victoria was a carrier of this, and a lot of her offspring and grandchildren, they all they all had this. So a fall off a horse could be deadly due to internal bleeding. And like one of them was like one of their kids fell out the castle window, which is, a byproduct of super good parenting. I was like, what? And I was watching this and I was laughing, and it was like, they take all these things that can be like very tragic and they're very funny. And I feel like we're now all being guided to do things that lift us up and make us feel good and invigorated. And it really is a beautiful time to just have these wonderful light sensations. Let's get rid of all this, oh, I have to pay bills, I have to cook. Like, what is funny to you? What makes you just die laughing? What gets you so excited? Like, I got new beads yesterday and I was so excited. I started making all these pieces and it made me so happy. I love moving into spring. I love, playing with colors and all of that. And I want you guys to just be infused with that light, because the star is about that and the guidance to bring us there. And by receiving all this universal life, we connect to a deeper understanding. It leads to so much healing, self-esteem, self-love, trust, all of this inspiration from the divine. Let this fill your being, because now is the time. I feel this 100% for you guys. You're stepping into this power. So feel free to watch all of them. They're just going to be brief, but definitely pick one so we'll know what's coming. And we'll do both tarot and as well as I think, it's Colette's newest deck, which I love so much. The artwork is beautiful. It's amazing. So we're going to begin with number 1, which is Dragon's Hoard. Let's see what some of our messages are. Loving this. This is my favorite card, just due to the fact that hollow bone, it like just seeps into my essence when I read something like this, because teachability is everything. I have a big family, and when you talk to people within your family and they think they know everything, it's not a conversation anymore. It's just them just fact spewing. And also when we feel like our cup is full, we can't accept more, and our cup should never be so full that we don't accept more. Regardless of how much I study or I learn about anything, I know I only know a tiny fraction of what I want to learn and what is out there, right? So when anybody speaks on any subject matter, I shut off that valve or that ego that says you already know this, because guess what? I don't know their interpretation of it. I don't know how they feel about it, and I love getting other people's viewpoints. So this is saying to you right now, if you really listen and you plug in, you're going to get beautiful insights. They're going to be cast like a wide net over you. And they're just those shining, sparkling stars are going to come through and land in your lap. Those little tidbits. Like, I think that's one of the reasons I was guided to watch this Weird History channel. I love history so much. And I used to be in charge in that section in the bookstore that I worked. So I read everything about everything. And then I realized why I knew I experienced past lives in some of these things, World War II, Versailles, all of these places, because I recognized what the books were saying before I even read it, and I could feel it. So that's another thing. We get connected to our past lives, our strengths, our gifts, all of that. So realize that there is always some information out there we don't know about that will be helpful, right? And I feel like Spirit's trying to really bring them to you. And I feel like the Moon card is definitely an essence. 7 of Wands. Like, remember we were talking about self-esteem. This is self-esteem. This is you putting up your boundaries and saying, do not cross. You know, if you speak to me this way, if you diminish me, if you, if you just kind of like plow over my feelings, I don't really have time for you either, because I don't have time to teach people how to be decent or have self-awareness at this moment, right? And that's not saying that if it's the first time we meet somebody, we don't give them a second chance, but we know these people, right? This is also saying I am going to create new boundaries because my time is precious. I'm a high value person. I'm not giving everything away, services, time, and everything willy-nilly. You have high self-esteem and you have high value coming in. And this is going to intensify certain situations in unexpected realms. It's like you're holding a flashlight to all of these things, and there's no more illusory scenery. It is real, and you're realizing, no, this person does speak to me this way, and I don't really want to stand for that anymore. I am giving my time, energy, and resources to this person. They don't really appreciate it, or they feel entitled to it. So poof, there it goes. So you're teaching yourself as well how to stand up for yourself and say no to things that deserve. There you go. Your Queen of Cups, you're feeling full. You're feeling, like you can trust. This is forward momentum. This is vitality, renewal, feeling good about yourself. This balance that is coming for you is going to bring you peace. The restlessness and questioning is going to stop for you. Your soul begins to shine outwardly. You feel fulfilled because you realize, hey, it all comes from me. When I have good inner dialogue and I say, I'm beautiful, I'm giving, I am a high value person. I am not going to be diminished or be taken advantage of in any regard. And you know what I love to do with this energy is, if people come at you sideways, we do not join them down on their level when they want to be argumentative or gossipy. We just look at them. Wordless exchanges have more power than anything else. So you give a brief 10-second, 15-second just kind of look. Their words will ring back to them in their ears, and they'll be like, oh my God, I sound so vicious, ridiculous, petty, whatever. Then they'll stop. It's really weird how not engaging can wake up other people without having to bring more attention to it. And that's sort of the power you're going to be in. Can be people in your family, because I feel like this is a time for enlightenment. What do you want to experience? You're letting go of limitations and restriction and realizing, wow, I'm awakening to self, and I am powerful, and I am going to protect my future self and feel good and balanced and whole by not relinquishing my strength and not getting involved in petty stuff, not giving my time and attention where it's not deserved. I mean, and you light workers out there, if you're watching, you know what this is like. We have certain skill sets, and people get excited about things. So through TikTok or whatever, everybody can just send you a blast. Yo, can I get a read? Yo, can I get this? And it's like just kind of this thing. And I feel anybody that answers to that and they give something freely and generously, it's so nice. But guess what? People sometimes are very non-respectful of that and think, oh, now they're going to make it rain. And they'll just like keep asking. If you're a painter, if whatever you are, it's really like if you went to a dinner party, honestly, and you were an opera singer or something, you're trying to rest your voice, and they're like, can you sing this? Can you do this? You're not always on. That switch doesn't have to be on. So if you get a lot of DMs, a lot of whatever, regardless of what you do not have to switch on, perform, prove yourself, or just keep working. Things aren't going to disappear. And I think that's the message you need to hear, that you're always going to have this flow. You don't always have to be in work mode and performance mode, that, you can be restful, and people are going to respect that. It's very wonderful, really good, solid pilgrimage towards experiencing your true power. Guess what? When I want to be generous, I can. When I want to answer this, I will. One of those things where you don't just have to go, and you don't feel like things are going to disappear with this. And also just learning something funny, silly, or interesting each day. Another whacked out thing I learned on the Weird History channel was when they what was happening in the Dust Bowl, and also when the stock market crashed, and it was just horrible, and people had to make do with certain kinds of foods, and they made these foods that would make, like, oh my God, I just started laughing because one of them was called like a prune whip, and I thought it was so, I was like, I got to find out what this was, and it was like just basically prunes and egg whites and sugar, and that was like your new dessert. But the craziest one was Ritz cracker was replacing apples as an apple pie filling, and it was called it was just ridiculous. But people, they were adding lemon juice, and they were like, I thought human perseverance blows my mind in what people will survive through and be resourceful. And I love Eleanor Roosevelt and all of this. She kicked off so much great stuff during this to help people, but some of it was so comical and silly, because now when things are in abundance, we think, ew, that's weird. But what if we had absolutely nothing but some crackers and pie crust? We're gonna make some Ritz cracker pie, right? It was so cool. But I definitely feel like this is coming through. You're protecting your future by sending beautiful vibrations into it and saying, will damn well have whatever it is I want. I will set up these boundaries. I'll speak my truth. I'll feel good about who I am. And I'll just kind of whisper my way through this peacefully and quietly, and really just come out on top, group one. I love that for you guys. I love it. Hey, if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Melanie Williams. Don't forget to press like and subscribe, and all my links are down below. There's a little arrow on the bottom right. It has my whole menu, because so many of you guys DM me, hey, where's your reading information? It's right there. But also you can DM me if you can't find it, because some don't pop up, or if you see me on TV as well. So if you come over to SparKrist 11, I will send you any of that information. Just DM me. I love this. And again, you guys, any jewelry or anything you see too, just come on over to IG or email me. All my stuff is down there. Really exciting times for you guys. So let's see what's happening with number 2, Feast of Plenty, choices and their consequences. Now this is really interesting, because this is kind of like the judgment card, right? Once we know that, this is where I apply kind of like future thinking. If I say this, how would I think about it if somebody said this to me? So before I speak, if I want to include any kind of judgment or anything, or I think it might help somebody, I rephrase it how I would like to hear it. I don't like impulsive speaking when there's no filter on it. It's still authentic, but it is less harmful, because sometimes we're so trigger happy and knee-jerk response that we say things that we used to say before we were more elevated, or before we gauged how it would be received. I do not like people that are critical when they're speaking to me, like in my family members. Sometimes family members, they feel very critical, and it can be anything, how you wear clothes, if they think it's outlandish, whatever. And when they say things and it's negative, I don't get defensive, but because I'm really learning not to take anything personal, but I put a wall up and I no longer really hear what they're saying, because I'm like, that's just a kind of like ego thing. Because when anybody wants to elevate themselves at the expense of somebody else, that's ego driven, and I don't have time for that, and I feel like you're not going to either. So before you maybe say something to somebody, just let them know, because this is you right here, right? This is you in this beautiful Ace of Cups. Also, this came up on IG too. Life is a balancing act, right? We have to share energy and space with other people, but your guides really want you to know that you're going to be doing this beautifully by letting in more oxygen and fun. This, I feel like this Ace of Cups is saying to you, get ready, because you're going to have not only all the resources and everything you need, but it's going to be divinely guided and whispered in your ear and handed to you. And you're going to be like, what? Like, what Ace of Cups totally represents to me is the gift of love. It's a summer season. It symbolizes the power of pure love. It's the holy grail within each of us. It receives divine love. It awakens. It opens our heart chakra. We want to share this with other people. I know when I wake up and I'm in a good mood, I want to spread the love. If I get good insights, I'm all over IG. I'm all over TikTok. I'm all over YouTube when this comes, right? This is everything. You become a messenger of beautiful energy, channeling love and light, energetically healing and transforming everything. I feel like you already probably are a light worker and a healer, and you help other people. So they might be showing up, right? And you do have to have a balancing act of, listen, I do need time for myself. I want things that enhance and balance and make me feel restful. I can't just go and give, because guess what? All the water can come out of your cup and then you're thirsty. And look at this beautiful dragonfly. This is like you feeling spiritual responsibility, but you are also having self-love that says, I need to listen and open and trust my heart, and following what my heart seeks. It also seeks balance and rest and all of that. This is, beautiful symbolization of you taking flight in this new beautiful mental clarity and feeling good and mind over matter and the path of truth. And our mind is constantly blabbing at us, right? Do this, go there, say, but I always will interpret very quickly what is an ego-based thought, which is like trump that person. If that person, like I do not like people that correct, or I do not like the act of correcting other people, how they speak. If they misspeak or they don't use literature right, or whatever, it's like they don't need to be called out in front of everybody. Why would that make you feel better or special? It's like one of those things where sometimes I call it cross contamination of facts, because I will read and watch so much stuff that I'll pull one area of facts into another area. So it's like I have to slow my roll and I'll actually write things down. But it's like one of those things, just being so supremely comfortable in who you are that you don't have to put others down to elevate yourself, right? I feel like you are going to be on a beautiful, let's move on kind of path, right? I'm seeking truth. Let's move on. Let's keep going. Let's find out. Yeah, ego sublimation. We were just talking about this. We have to recognize when something comes in. If we ever feel like we have to prove ourselves, explain ourselves, go above and beyond to seem awesome, powerful, whatever it is, that's our ego. We have to release it, and we have to say, it's our intuition, our heart, and our love that matters. And how can I make this person feel better? How can I make this situation better? How can I leave this room or area feeling lighter, brighter, and higher energy than when I came in, right? A simple smile, being patient. I feel too like it's any little tiny thing. You see a child in line and they're restless, you smile, you make them feel comfortable, you show them. I always have like crazy stuff, in my bag, crystals and everything. And I remember one time this child was having absolute nuclear meltdown when I was at Whole Foods, and I had a bunch of bracelets on, and this was before COVID. I'm not trying to hand out COVID jewelry. And I just walked up and I was like, would you like some of these? I make these and they make me happy. Stop the meltdown. The dad was like, holy hell, thank you, Jesus. Because it's embarrassing. I mean, I remember my kids were toddlers. They didn't like particularly leaving the beach, especially Joni would have like such meltdown. I would have to carry her all the way like a half a mile across the beach. And it's not fun, but it's one of those things where we can lift and change energy by letting go of our ego and think, this is inconveniencing me. This yelling is inconveniencing me. So what? How can you enhance and help the parent and the child? Like all of that. And we all have this. We all have those moments where we just take a breath and we're like, hey, I could make the situation better. And how can I do this, right? Look at this 5 of Swords. Because you will have people, places, and things. 5 is a card of conflicts where they say things that bother you. They do things that bother you. But ask yourself, how much does this really deserve my energy or attention? Or can I just observe it for once? I love when you turn involvement to observation, and that's what you're going to be able to do. And it takes some doing. I'm not kidding you, because we are ingrained, from year 1 through 7, we're taught, if this bothers you, speak out, lash out, that's knee-jerk responsive. That's trigger, right? This can be a trigger card. Instead, like, let me just observe this and see, does it really deserve my attention? Do I really need to utter words? Am I going to help this? Is this person naturally combative and irritating anyway? How about I remove myself entirely from this so I can save my energy? And that's what you're going to be doing, because you're like, you know what? I want this over this. I don't want to get involved in anything that's low vibration. And that's the thing, our ego is tricky. It like wants to pop out and do stuff. But again, it's a balancing act. What deserves our attention? This deserves our attention. The love, what feeds you, what nourishes you, what makes you feel good. And it's a whole different kind of experience when we're there, when we're like, I don't need to get involved. I am going to zippa my lippa and take a sip from my cup and feel nourished. Oftentimes it's just averting your attention to the situation. Just a cold, hard stare. Somebody is acting like a total fool. You just look at them. Their words will reverberate in their ears and they'll be like, oh my God, I sound ridiculous or whatever. And then they simmer down. They just simmer down. It's very unique how the interplay of our voice feeds into and can exacerbate it, because they're like, yay, I have another combatant, let's go, and then you're off to the races, right? Instead, you're like, I'm just gonna give this a stare, a glare, I'm gonna pivot and leave. I love just looking at somebody that just says really nasty things or does nasty things, and you just pivot and leave, because then they're just stuck there with nothing but their own sourness, and it's like, it's the best. and you save all your energy too, right? So those are about choices and consequences. So I feel like if you chose this, you may have family or coworkers or people that are just little sourpusses, and they are just always just the comment down below if you're experiencing this, because I feel this very strongly, just kind of flicking at you, and you're just like, I don't even want it anymore. But if you don't engage and don't give it energy, it's going to fizzle out, which I love, group 2. So that's you, my beauties. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Don't forget to press like and subscribe, and all my links are down below. You guys need a private read, anything, everything is there. Now I'm going to go on to number 3, which is overflow, overwhelm, and plenty. Now I love this because this can be the land of plenty, or we can be drunk on choice, right? It can be too much. This is something that happens when we get in kind of like a purchasing mindset. Amazon does this, eBay does this. You go in there, you're like, well, if I had this deck, it'd be better with this deck. If I had this jewelry, that it gets us in a I need more mindset. But now you're saying, you know what? I have plenty and I want to cherish this. I'm curious about what this is, but guess what? I want this one thing. I want to have it be enhanced. I want to have to be wonderful. I want to be able to engage in this fully. So this is a thing too, where we're not multitasking, right? Where somebody's speaking to us, they get our undivided attention. If we're studying something, that's what we're studying. We don't need the TV, the iPad, the computer, NASA, everybody else involved, just us. Let's do one thing at a time, right? And this is just also like, let's be curious about other people. If somebody is talking to us and we're engaged, let's stop everything. Let's stop the mind chatter and really listen. I'm like this with names. I'm terrible. For some reason, I black out. I stone cold black out when somebody tells me their name. I always have to ask them twice, unless it's something crazy like Rumpelstiltskin or Farfignugan. I'm not going to remember it. Typical names: Mary, Linda. So crazy. I met this wonderful woman the other day, and her name was Lisa, and right away it stuck with me, but then it disappeared, and I just re-asked it because she re-asked my name too. So it happens to a lot of people, you guys. Okay, this is like King of Cups kind of energy too right now. Let's see what's happening. Yes, planning your future and not doing it with a mundane, this will be boring, same old stuff, right? This is all the elements of let's get in this vehicle and let's be curious about what the future has, but in a very positive way, not a limited mindset, but like all this stuff can come to me. I can be part of this. I can be part of this reality that I want to create by letting go, no more bites of desperation pie. You know, desperation pie is, I need this. If I don't have this, my life isn't going to be good. It's like, I already have everything I need. Anything else is going to enhance this. Where's the magic? Where are the people? Where are the kindred spirits? All of this. You know, it's like one of those things. Every once in a while, these crazy things come up in my life too. Like, and another thing, when I was watching that crazy show, in the time of the Depression, they started making this most grotesque concoction, but all of a sudden I was like, that could actually be good. It will be the most disgusting thing or the most excellent thing. And people started filling and baking onions with peanut butter. It was supposed to just be this phenomenon. And I was like, I can't even. And then I was like, that could be really cool. You know what I mean? It's like all the possibilities. We are letting possibilities ring true and come in, and we're not doubting anything. And we want to have all this fun stuff. I feel right now, I feel like you are going to be this brilliant, observant person that's determined, motivated, and ready to take action and integrate these fantastic ideas into the world of manifestation. That's it. You are going to be able to really deal with keen perception, any problematic situations and challenges from a wider perspective. That's what this is about, because problems come in, boredom can set in, but it's a mindset. But you're a student of inner truth, and you're seeking true convictions and values right now. So your cosmic will is going to help you align with it. Don't be discouraged. You realize, I am really checking into my future with a heart that's wide open. There you go, cosmic wound, the divine feminine. It feeds your soul. It helps. It also like gives you that hug when you need it. You stop and you're like, let me talk to myself like I was 5. I would never say you are stupid, you are fat, you are incapable. I would never say that. So let's let the inner dialogue be, you are capable. Whenever you need it, you're going to have that information you need. You are of high value. People respect and love you because you respect and love yourself. Nobody is going to trot or dismiss you or your feelings anymore, because you're going to stand up for yourself. You don't have to be combative. You simply be this kind of rarefied, purified energy of just looking at somebody and be like, what's their intention? Oh, it's craptacular. Goodbye, pivot and leave. You know, oh, somebody just has a misunderstanding, so let me kind of rectify the situation with a calm approach. My father was so masterful at this. I don't know it was like he really did have an angelic, beautiful presence. 6'1", he looked like Jean-Luc Picard. He had like beautiful icy blue eyes, white Norwegian hair, and then he was bald. But everything in the way he moved and he spoke, and it was this calming, beautiful energy. And I love it. I got an infusion of my mom's just crazy, like fiery, amazing energy, and his like calm. And every once in a while when I really need it, like emergencies, I feel him really in my spirit and soul. And I almost feel like I'm going to cry because I've never, all right, I got to pause. I've never come across another person that's in the 3D that is like that. I mean, let me give you a scenario. One of my uncles just mentioned to my dad, oh, I really want to get this. When my dad first met him, my mother's brother, something about he wanted to get a motorcycle or a car, and my uncle said, you know what? Your dad just bought it for me. He just went out and he just bought it for me. And then another time, I remember my brother took one of my dad's golf clubs and was goofing around with it and smashed our television set. And my dad walked in and I was like, oh, because I was just still in shock. And my dad made a joke out of it because he thought we were all going to freak out. He's like, that's not how you hold the golf club if you're going to smash it. You know, and he made like a joke, very calm, but like observant, because he knew that rash decision making or anger never helped a situation, you know. And later there would be, you know, a sit down and a talk, but it was always from a place of calm. It was never a reaction. It was always a very, very just noble energy. And I love that. And that's this divine feminine energy where you're like, if something breaks or is terrible or chaotic, we can make it worse or we can make it better. And guess what? You're going to make it better. And that's exactly how my father's energy was. I never heard him diminish, dismiss, or disparage anyone. And it's so crazy. And here's another weird thing. Same thing for Ian's father, my husband of 25 years. His father, the same thing. I never heard him disparage anybody. It's amazing. And I'm like, that is some awesome energy right there. And that is this energy. And you're going to step into that and go, you know what? I could be a total biatch and wind up and tell somebody why they are so much of this and so much of that. But what good does that do? I mean, honestly, what good? Let me take this beautiful approach and just be like, that person's hurting. They're in a place of misunderstanding. They're in a place of emotional growth where they haven't reached. They don't have self-acceptance, whatever it is. Because everything that is negative, I have noticed with people, is a projection of how they feel about themselves. So instead, we replace it with empathy and love, and then we try to heal if we can, and if not, we just step away because we don't need that, right? Let's have a little closing energy for you, surrendering to that. Oh, you got this too. You know, you are moving out of stagnation. You are moving out of any kind of desperation pie. You're not eating that anymore. Nothing to do with anything. You feel good. You feel like I'm in this. You know, this is like 3 of Cups energy, beautiful social energy, surrendering, being able to do all this, happiness and abundance. I love it. Celebrate your accomplishments. Seize the moment. Enjoy this precious time. Joyful celebrations. Your life is blessed and you feel it. Oh, I love that for you, Group 3. Comment down below too if you experience these. You know, I'm a wavelength of a lot of things at times. Sometimes I'm like, I'll see things so clearly, and when being an empath, and now my clear cognizance is really kicking in. So right away it's like, just don't reject this. Listen and then get composed and then share this. Family member, person, whatever it is, there's no need to be this. But also when things are completely in technicolor in front of us and we know something is a wasteland and we have to move away from it. It can be painful. Change can be painful. People, places, and things. But we do have to disengage from stuff that just no longer suits us, because everybody is leveling up right now, leveling up big time, and they just can't carry this excess negativity, weight, person, job, a lot of this, because you realize there's more purified air up there. And like cream, you are rising to the top. And be proud of yourself because you recognize you deserve more. And because of that, you will get more 100%. Wow, that was crazy. I felt like I just had to start reading right now. Hagen was out playing volleyball and I'm like, I've got to do this. These messages are really pushing forth. And I'm glad that I did. And comment down below if you resonate or you feel some of this energy. Thank you guys for all your love and all your feedback. I read all your comments. I know I haven't been hearting or replying. There's just been a lot going on. I'm like the human taxi machine for my family right now. But I love. I can speed read, thank goodness. So I read everything that you guys send my way. And I really, really appreciate it. So you guys, get out there and thrive and dive deep into this beautiful time, because you're off the depression era menu and you're now in the beautiful amuse-bouche and you deserve it. Love and light.